Looks like the sunlight's trying to come out, but there's too many clouds in the sky. I guess it adds some interesting looks. And with that in mind, what did I read today? How about this first one? With all that news about the US potentially banning things like Chinese-made drones and all that, I guess you can expect more manufacturers to pop up in the US for drones. And how about this one? This one says, Detroit's manufacturing legacy takes flight with arrival of drone maker Birdstop. It says, Birdstop, a drone manufacturing company, is establishing its new headquarters in Detroit, aiming to change the fact that only 1% of the world's drones are made in the United States. Keith Miao, Birdstop's CEO and founder, shared his vision for the company's growth at their 420,000 square foot facility. Miao cited the city's manufacturing heritage and the significant scale of manufacturing education happening in Detroit and Michigan as key reasons for locating there. Drone technology has limitless uses from natural disaster responses to police operations. For example, drones can quickly deploy after hurricanes to assess damage safely or respond within seconds to gunshot detections, providing critical intel to officers. I know here anyways, when people say Detroit, the first thing that comes up is usually car manufacturing, so I suppose if drones are going to rise up too, that could be a new thing in that area. But again, I guess more companies will likely start manufacturing in the US as well. And with drones here in Canada, as you know, ever since they made all those changes and so forth for the drone rules, it seems like officials are going crazy with them, and now they're actually warning people where there's going to be, I suppose, police drones, for example, or first responder drones flying around in certain places, and for people to, I suppose anyways, not freak out. It says, look up, that drone may be a first responder in York Region. York Regional Police will soon test pre-positioned remotely controlled drones as first responders for in-progress incidents like missing vulnerable person cases and thefts. The department plans to roll out a pilot program expanding its drone use in high-density areas, including Vaughan Metropolitan Center and other to be determined locations in Southern York Region beginning in early 2026. And it's not going to be small drones that are flying around, it's going to be the bigger ones, because it says here anyways, they're likely going to be using those DJI Matrice 4T drones, so thermal capabilities and all that. And it says the drones will be affixed to buildings in boxes from which they can be released and flown by a pilot. They do make a note too on how apparently there will be more, I guess, surveillance developments, as they say, I guess in the future, so more than just the drones. And this piece of news was going around everywhere, as you would expect, because of that recent story here in this province. You guys remember where in the city of Richmond there was a dispute where First Nations were claiming that they owned a piece of land, and apparently the court determined they do. And then because of that, people are saying their properties, for example, they're no longer theirs, and that created a huge uproar, and people are wondering, if they can just do that, for example, claim this is their land despite people buying their properties, paying taxes and all that, what's stopping them from doing this for other places? And sure enough, that seems like that's what's happening. This one here says, First Nation files lawsuit demanding Aboriginal title over lands in Western Quebec. An Alenquin First Nation has filed a title claim in Quebec's Superior Court over large swaths of territory across the west of the province in an effort to address what is described as historic injustices against its people. Jean Guy Whiteduck, chief of the Kitigan-Zibi Anishinaabeg First Nation, says his people need to have a say in the way water, wildlife, and forestry are managed in their traditional territory. He said that meaningful reconciliation can't exist until that happens. Whiteduck says the lawsuit only covers areas that are owned or managed by government, and there's no intention to dislodge private landowners. It makes me wonder if they're saying that because of what happened here anyways. Although in reading this too, it makes you wonder, is it just about money? Because it says, quote, billions of dollars have been taken out of our lands with limited return to our community. Whiteduck said, all of the dams that were built on our territory were done without approval from our people. We were never compensated. So again, it makes you wonder if that's ultimately what the whole situation is overall. This doesn't sound good so far. If this keeps up, I could imagine easily this becoming some kind of, let's just say, quote, civil war, if that's what you want to say, where people will fight for their properties, and this will be the survival of the fittest per se. The hope is it won't be like that, but I don't see how it's not going to if they keep pushing it like this anyways.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thanks
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah.
All right, see you guys later.